enters the stage. Not funny, hysterical. No, God forbid, women ever call themselves funny. No, I mean like ancient Greek hysterical. Like my uterus is affecting my brain hysterically. That's what they thought was the cause of all women's problems. Their uteruses. The word hysteria is derived from the word hystera, which means uterus. I'd imagine the conversation went a little bit like, this bitch is crazy, and I'd have to assume it's got nothing to do with anything we've done. It's probably to do with her. So is that okay with you? Am I pretty enough? I hope so. I like to think I could be the new kind of pretty, the one where we can be body positive. Marilyn was a size 18, you know? Age 4, I perform for the first time. I'm a poppy in The Wizard of Oz. A very important role. For the show, I've been bought a shiny black leotard that, when the light hits it, looks like it's been covered in glitter. My poppy skirt is a bright red and it flares out like a proper dancer's skirt should. I spend the morning having my hair pulled back into a bun. It hurts a little, but I'm too excited to notice. My mother asks if I've got butterflies in my tummy. I try and rack my brain for a memory of eating butterflies this morning, but it doesn't sound like something I would do. Maybe there was some caterpillars in my breakfast. Someone comes to get us. It's one of the big girls who's been in my classes. She takes my hand, and I skip to the side of the stage. Other big girls stand on stage and dance around looking beautiful. Dorothy stands in the middle of the stage looking lost. She turns away from the audience and looks to the side. We catch eyes. She's breathing steadily, but I can see her sweat. She smiles at me. I wave. It's time for me to go on. I stand on stage with my two friends next to me, and they freeze. We're supposed to dance around Dorothy and the others, and they've frozen. One is smiling at her parents, the others run off stage completely. I know what we're supposed to do, so I do it. I let go of the big girl's hand, and I skip out in front of her. I do 3 pliés. I lift my arms above my head, I ring them back around, and I pretend to sing. I do the whole dance, just me! And when I finish, the audience erupts, and I know it's all for me. Someone says to my mother, she's a natural. My mother agrees. I think it's what she's born to do. We talk about the show later that day in the park. My mother hugs me and tells me how proud she is of me, and it feels amazing to make her smile like that. We sit on a bench and she asks me how my belly feels. I say if there were any butterflies in there, they are gone now. We feed the ducks. My mother and I do this all the time, and it never fails to make me so excited. A swan swims past. So slow and graceful. My mother points at it and says that I was as beautiful as a swan when I'm on stage. I want it to notice me. I do that cat thing to make it come over. It works even though it's not a cat. It comes towards me and I grab a piece of bread. It's the biggest slice in the bag. He glides towards me and opens his mouth for the bread. I throw it, but as I do I notice his teeth. These jaggedy things in its beak. And they're horrible. They don't match the rest of the swan at all. My mother grabs me and tells me to be careful. I know they're pretty, darling, but they're dangerous. Its lovely long neck could break your legs, and your legs are so little, baby, and so new. I think if they broke, you wouldn't be able to dance again.
Behind Judy Garland's radiant smile and enchanting voice lay a life filled with tragedy.
We sure hope this Hollywood star is happier somewhere over the rainbow.
This is how the world remembers Judy Garland. But behind the scenes, the legendary performer was anything but the charming and sweetly innocent Dorothy.
One of the best entertainers that the United States ever produced, was the loneliest, the unhappiest, and the most dysfunctional woman in the world.
Helen of Troy's mother was impregnated by a swan. Leda, daughter of Theseus, king of Pleuron, was beautiful. So beautiful she caught the attention of Zeus, god of thunder, king of the gods. He would sit and watch her up from his throne in Mount Olympus, much to the chagrin of his wife. He one day was so enamoured by her beauty and purity, he disguised himself as a swan and laid himself upon her. Unable to move, she was impregnated by him, and when it came time to give birth, she laid 2 eggs. From the eggs hatched Pollux, Clytemnestra, Castor, and Helen.
A sudden blow, the great wings beating still. Above the staggering girl, her thighs caressed. By the dark webs her nape caught in his bill, holds her helpless breast upon his breast.
So I start working really hard. My mother doesn't want me to perform professionally as a child. She doesn't want people taking advantage of me. But I'm working really hard. I stand in classes with other girls who want the same thing as me, and I remind myself that I want it more. It's what I was born to do. My mother says so. Every show she comes to, every good performance I give, the hugs get tighter and the flowers get bigger, and it's addictive, this feeling. I can't find it anywhere else. My father comes to the show sometimes too. He's less easy to impress. He doesn't really get it. He loves me, but I know when he smiles, it's put on. I also find I can be funny, and it's not something everyone in the room can be, and it's brilliant. When the audience laughs, there's this instant hit immediately. They're on my side. They breathe a sigh of relief when I come on stage because they know I'll say something funny. They love me. Every laugh they give me, it's like they are saying, "We love you. You are our favourite." We get to be in conversation with each other. I'm also keeping a keen eye on the women on the TV. Whenever one does something wrong, why do people love her? Why do they now hate her? I sit and I watch and I think, how could you be so stupid? And I'm glad that I can see it from here and know what not to do. I pity her, the woman on TV. They're laughing at her, but they laugh with me.
100 people, the top 7 answers are on the board. Name something Britney Spears has lost in the past year. That's right, people. Her husband. Let's see how that stacks up her husband. Guess up to number 1, listen. The hair. Lost a lot of hair. There it is. Nancy Cody. Good look for her. Right. All right. Next time you know you have been following her exploits for the past year. What has Britney Spears done this past year? What has she lost?
She's lost her sanity.
At one performance, a man comes and sits in the audience, and he is gorgeous. He's in his 40s, but in a really wow kind of a way. I bet his wife is beautiful. I wonder what he tells her when he says he's got to watch teenagers in leotards dance around a stage. He sits in the audience, and I know he's watching me. He laughs at all my jokes. His eyes aren't on anyone else. At the end of the show, he comes up and shakes my hand. Black turtleneck, pristine white blazer. I'm pretty sure it's designer or something. One where you'd like feel the sleeves and go like, He smiles, and his teeth are so white and so bright, it's so distracting. It's making me consider teeth whitening strips. He's talking to my father now, and my mother is squeezing my hand, but I can't stop staring at his teeth. I can almost see my father's reflection in them. I think he's saying something like, she should come in for a meeting with us.
Helen of Troy was beautiful. She was beautiful. She was, after all, the face that launched 1,000 ships. There's some debate behind the name Helen. Some think it's in reference to the word Helenion, which refers to a group of flowering plants. Others think it derives from the vegetation deity, who got her name from the wicker baskets, Helenae, that were made during her festival. Whenever you ask for evidence of God, people often point you in the direction of plants. The ontological argument, how can we have such perfect creations like plants and stones and snail shells without a creator? So Helen of Troy should have been perfect, objectively. Her father is a god, and her name is linked to natural perfection. So Helen of Troy was beautiful. So beautiful, she was kidnapped multiple times and fought over by men, and all the women hated her for causing the wars between Troy and Sparta because they believed she was causing the wars herself.
Helen of Troy, hard was thy ruling fate, woman for whom not only nations waged long bloody war, but gods their wills engaged, and stooping downward from their high estate fought hand to hand upon the Trojan plains. Woman whose beauty was the sculptor's dream, whose life has been a universal theme, what of thy heart, its pleasures and its pains? Thou wert woman only, and I read between the lines the sorrows that were thine, thy struggles to resist the tempter's snare. For thy weakness and thy love I plead, what counts to these arts praise or verse divine, sin and thy country's curse, thy doom to bear.
Yeah, it's going well. Yeah, the new single's out next week, and then Office Girls is out later in the month. But yeah, it's good. I'm good. Of course I am. Really, I am. This is it, isn't it? This is everything we wanted. Is it? Yeah. The press tour starts next week, the same time as the single. So people get like this cool 2-for-1 kind of a thing. But both things are me. Hopefully that's what the people want. It's weird it's all happening so quickly, isn't it? I had a meeting today with my team. They were talking about me as like my public persona, like my brand. I'm a product of the company now, so they have saying like everything. Because I represent them. I keep thinking about when you'd be on a school trip and teachers would be like, when you're in uniform, you represent the school. Except now there's like money involved or something. They want me to acknowledge my weaknesses. Because, like how they humanize me, because no one likes a perfect person anyway. I don't know, I think they want me to talk about my body. And how it's not traditionally beautiful. I hadn't really thought about it before, it's just my body. But then they showed me all these articles that had already come out that said things like, embraces her curves and shows off her bigger body. And I just think like, I'm not doing anything, I'm just wearing my clothes. But then now it's like it's theirs now. I don't know. The single is fun and poppy. I asked if I would be allowed to write a song. Instead, I'm doing a pop cover of an old song that I reckon everyone will hate.
Oh yeah.
We have to reach the broadest appeal possible. The music video is ridiculous. Gosh. The director was a man with a daughter. I know this because there is a picture of a girl on his lock screen. She's in a pink swimming that, but you wouldn't even know they're there. Your thighs, I like them. There's a lot to work with. Okay, from the top with the choreo.
A kiss on the hand, maybe quite continental. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. A kiss on the hand, maybe quite continental, but diamonds.
I meet little girls almost every day now. Actually, I meet their parents first. Mothers, usually. Say I'm sat in some cafe, eating some kind of shit salad. They come over, and it's like their eyes can't roll far enough back in their heads. I know what they think of me. They think my films and my music are silly. That I am this vapid creature that their daughters are now obsessed with. Whenever I see this look from one of them, I want to be like, I never wanted to be with this, your kid. I just wanted people to like me. I'm happy that your daughters are happy, but this was never what my plan was. Anyway, they come over, eyes rolled back, and say something like, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm sure you're very busy. No. Not at all. No. I didn't think so. Now. I have no idea who you are. But my daughter, for some reason, loves you. Please, could you get a quick picture? I look behind her mother to find her. Some kind of teenage girl, awkward and sweet, holding some kind of phone in a pink glittery phone case. It's far too big for her hand. She looks ridiculous, but she looks so sweet. She shuffles over and says something like, I love you! And it gets me every time, because what do I say to that? I don't think she's lying, but I don't think she loves me. I, without fail, deliver the line, that means so much to me. It does. I'm not lying. Then we pose. I put my hands on her shoulders. I know she's shocked by how cold they are in the middle of June. So am I. I can't seem to get them warm these days. I put my head on my hand, on her shoulders. I stand behind her, and I crouch. And for a moment, I feel safe behind this little girl because she is my shield. She is who I'm telling everyone my work is for. Plus, when I stand like this, the camera creates some kind of optical illusion where it looks like her hips might be my hips. Not that I'm thinking about her hips, but I'm thinking I might want her hips to be my hips because no one is talking about a 10-year-old's hips. Oh, I bet her dad is talking about my hips. I'm knackered. I am bloody knackered. I'm doing so much all the time. I haven't stopped doing things yet. I'm working so hard. And no one is talking about that. It's never the work that they're talking about. It's always something else or someone else. Someone said that I'm the new someone or other. And it's so confusing because I remember them hating her. I remember the articles and the blog posts and the columns. I'm not sure it's a compliment you think it is. Ooh. I've met someone. Apollo. He's so cool. Oh, he's in this band that's getting really big. When I met him, I told him I was making music too. He laughed. I know. I've heard it. You're hard to escape.
Diamonds, diamonds, diamonds.
That's so exciting! Oh, I haven't really ever had time to date before. Not that I do now or anything, but it's happening. So it's exciting. There were pictures of our first date on the front page of a magazine. It's quite boring, really. I just took him to a park. I love the park. It makes me so calm, breathe and calm. I used to love the park. I thought I would still love the park. But it's weird, it doesn't feel like it's my space anymore. They took a picture of a day that was supposed to be mine in a place that was mine, and now it's a picture that people can take to their homes. He looks cool. I think it's crazy that people can look cool in a park. I don't know how he did it. He looks cool in the picture. I don't. I've never really been cool. I've been smart and funny and talented, but I've never really been cool.
It's hard to be cool when you're into theatre.
He looks cool in the picture and I don't, and that's fine. But the caption is all about how mismatched we are, about how no one saw it coming. And I'm looking out at the pond at the ducks and I look confused by something he said. I look stupid. When I saw the picture in the shop, I burst into tears. They took a picture of that too.
Helen of Troy must have been insecure. She was a woman, after all, probably filled with imposter syndrome. She surely must have convinced herself that her nose was sometimes wrong, or that sometimes her hair was frizzy and they must have got it wrong. It can't have been her face that launched all those ships. She probably heard the women in Troy and Sparta talking about how she's only causing problems, and she would have believed them. She probably just thought that was the price she had to pay. I would.
My team and I are strategizing a way to get the press off my back. Someone in the room says it's my fault, that I shouldn't have made a career out of easily. That, of course, people weren't going to take me seriously if I kept making stupid songs and films and I don't know what to say, because that was their idea for my thing to be being funny. I've been offered a part in a film. It's about this actress. It's to make the move to serious acting. Nothing funny, you can't keep being funny. Anyway, it's about this actress, about her life, how it ended terribly early. It's saying something about how much potential she had, but everything that happened in her life made it go to waste. It's a real story. She's a real dead woman. Someone's daughter. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it to her. For him.
The experience of life that was described reminded me of the sort of things my girlfriends would say when they would describe their lives and their mythological take on their lives. It was very similar to Blonde, so it was sort of easy to become obsessed with it. Through that I got interested in Marilyn Monroe. I know an awful lot about Marilyn Monroe now. I've read all the major stuff. There's over 1,000 books written about her, and I haven't read 1,000, but I've read all the big hits. I've read all that stuff, and I've met the people that knew her, and I've been to most of the places that you can still get into, where she lived. I've read all the biographies of all the people that were in her life too, so I'm aware of what they think happened in most of the situations in her life. I did all that research, and I used very little of it in the movie.
Then why use her name, if it's not her? Spencer, Jackie, Judy, Diana, Whitney, Amy, my week with Marilyn. Because she's your symbol, right? She's your muse, your ingenue. He didn't like that. He really didn't like that. He's getting quite angry now. He's talking to quite a lot of people about it. I don't really have the energy for this. I'm hungry and I'm tired and I'm not used to self-advocation. Apollo says it's embarrassing that I can't stand up to him, but I did. I just didn't do it right. I can't seem to do anything right. He doesn't want to be seen as someone who can't take herself seriously. Someone in the office said I'm too fat to play her anyway. And I don't know what's happening, but I've handed over control to something else. Something angry, fuming, red. I walk back into his office and he smiles at me. This disgusting fucking smile, ugly fucking smile, like he's won something. Are you here to apologise? I understand you might be under a lot of stress, but in the future you won't be talking to me like that. Shut up! Talking to you like that. I don't want you talking again. He opens his mouth again. I reach my hand in. I squeeze his tooth, his front tooth. I push his head back as I do it. He squeals as I do it. Silly little baby squeals. How can one big anger fumes and red, clear from my head but not from my hands. My hands are covered in red. He's shocked. He's so shocked. He can't say a fucking thing. Hilarious. I have to leave. I find a park bench. I sit and I burst into tears. I can't stop crying. Oh, I want to rip off my skin. I want to bare my bones and muscle to the air. I'll hand it over to the writers, the journalists. It's what they're doing anyway. They can give my skin to the actress who plays me in 30 years. There's a picture. There's a camera in the park. There's a flash taken. I see the picture. I say, fuck you! There's a headline. Tomorrow, our funny girl is now a hysterical woman. And there I am, scratching at my skin, next to the pond. In the picture, there's a swan landing. Have you ever seen that happen? They splash about, they cause this massive hoo-ha. They're splashing, they're slapping, they look mental. Of course, when they land in the water again, they're perfect. They're not massively elegant swans. They're just bigger. Swans are just bigger, so you have to pay attention to them because they take up more space. The girls that I used to make fun of, the ones that I am now, the magazines love them. These funny little crazy ladies, the ones who are so devoted to their art they sacrifice themselves. All that for a good song, movie, play, because then it was worth something, right? Pull up your trousers, put your savior complexes away, boys. There was nothing to be done. She was beyond our help, and there's nothing better than a dead one, is there, boys? One who can't speak for herself anymore, can't cause any more damage. From somewhere over the rainbow, she can sit and watch us watch the pretty mess she's made of her life. There's not much that's said about what happened to Helen of Troy after Troy fell. Some say that Menelaus tried to kill her for leaving him, but kept her beauty for himself. Others say that she went up to live on Mount Olympus to be with the gods, but then other stories say that it's Hades and the underworld. But there's really not much, because she wasn't serving a purpose anymore, was she? I think she had a terrible time. The face of a war, and for what? Decided for her by a man's assault on a woman. She was a product of abuse and then a victim over and over again. All to be remembered for her beauty, something she had no control over, defined by others. It must have been horrible. And someone probably diagnosed her with hysteria at some point. Or her mother. And me, your hysterical woman. No, I won't mind. No, I'll probably be sad and hot like Anya Taylor-Joy in The Queen's Gambit. But not too sad that, you know, about love or something. No, that would be silly. No, it would have to be real, like drugs or death or nail bombs at my concert. But not something too real where I'm unlikable. Can I tell you what I think is hysterical? That little girls are told that life ends with romantic love, but are met with confusion when they scream in pain when it's taken away. Yeah, that's pretty fucking hysterical to me. That Shelley Duvall had a psychotic break, but Kubrick is a genius, and The Shining is a masterpiece, and he did it all in the name of art. Yeah, that's pretty fucking hysterical to me. That there are over 30 fictional portrayals of Marilyn Monroe, 10 of Diana, 2 of Whitney, 2 of Amy, all saying the same thing. Media bad, drugs bad, fame bad, but movie great, Oscar, Tony, BAFTA, Olivier, men's names. The story that needed to be told, but it was. We were there. Yeah, that's pretty fucking hysterical to me. That when writing this, I started by writing down all the bad things that happened to me and my friends, only to feel uncomfortable by the page. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I don't want to cry on stage, but I don't want to be a hysterical woman, but it feels like I can't have one without the other. No success without succumbing to the same fate as the women before me. The one the media craves,
the car crash to watch burn. Yeah, that is pretty fucking hysterical to me.
Kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend.
A kiss of the hand would be quite